going to ask Mike if he would share his personal story, and followed by each of us as well.
Good evening. I would just like to say that this was my first trip to Israel, Palestine, and what I was able to be a witness to was a violation of the Palestinian people, human rights, civil rights, equality. Growing up in the South, in Birmingham, Alabama, I'm no stranger to seeing racism, classism, and violation of human rights and equal rights. This was an experience that changed my life, seeing the level of restriction and the level of just harassment that the Palestinian people have to endure on a daily basis. And this is a level that I've never seen before, even though I am someone who grew up in the South and who know about George Wallace and his system of racism, who know about Eugene Bull-Connors and his system. And this is just, you know, the Palestinian people are crying, and their cries are valid, and we have to move forward in soliciting the United States to deal with the fact that we send multiple levels of money to Israel on a yearly basis to contribute in this ongoing abuse, human rights violation, and civil rights violation. Thank you.
This trip was my second trip to Palestine and Israel. The first time I was there, I stayed mostly in East Jerusalem, and I really was not able to travel around, but this time was exceedingly different. I was very much surprised when I found out about the water situation in Israel and in the Palestinian areas. Israel controls about 80% of the water supply, which is channeled mainly from aquifers and underground springs in Palestinian lands. Palestinians pay 4 times the price for their water, and their water is greatly rationed. We passed by many fields that were dry in the Palestinian areas, and we asked, why were these fields so dry? And we were told that Palestinian farmers were not allowed to dig for water, even though there were abundant springs underneath the land. And so for me, I think, out of everything that I saw, this to me was very, very shocking, because water is something that we all need and that we all use. And especially when Palestinians were basically farmers, and now they have no access to that water. Thank you.
I have an image in my mind of a young man, probably about 4 or 5, who, when we were in Hebron, he came and he was trying to get us to buy some objects from him, and he was following us and trying to get us to buy it, but the IDF did not want him to be where we were, and so he was running away from them, but running in between us, and our tour guide, just moments before, had a very, very tense situation with one of the Israeli soldiers who actually leveled a gun at him and told him to move, and he refused to move. He said, why are you asking me to move? What am I doing? And I looked at the face of the courage in the face of this young man, and I thought that there is something there that goes beyond our own philosophical reasons. There's something there that is much deeper than just our intellectual understanding. These people were facing death itself, but yet they were. Even the youngster, he seemed to be acquainted with what do you do when they're around. So for me, I can't get that image out of my mind, and just the arrogance of how he grabbed, when he finally caught the young kid, he snatched him up and kind of drug him over to the other side of the barrier. And so I'm watching that, and I'm just thinking to myself that I would love to see a world that that kind of thing is out of place. And so I'm hoping that some of the things that we've seen and we'll share will help to create a move toward a more beloved community.
I'm going to speak not as a Republican, not as a Democrat, not as a liberal, not as a lefty, I want to speak from my heart. And I want to talk about what I saw from that perspective of a human being who happens to have been born as a woman in the skin color of a black person. And as a human being, what I saw was the oppression and the tormenting of a spirit of people who every day deal with such hardships that we cannot imagine, who every aspect of their lives is controlled by military rule, by occupation, by clever ways to monitor and manage a people. And specifically, I was troubled by what we call the greening of the land of Palestine, where there's a tremendous effort to erase the culture, to erase the history, to erase the people themselves from their land, just totally wipe it away by renaming the streets, by planting over villages that have been around for thousands of years, by planting over in nice green shrubs and beautiful gardens, to take away the fact that this was somebody else's land, to erase the memory and a history and a heritage of a people that also have a right to exist, a right to very basic human rights. And so I speak from that place as a concerned human being that we cannot tolerate this, that we have to take action on behalf of the oppressed people of Palestine, and quite frankly, the Jewish people themselves are equally oppressed. Occupation does no one good. And so I stand with my fellow delegates to say that enough, 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 and that we must very, very quickly amass a movement in this country that requires us to see that the policies around the Palestinian people are changed, to see that the land that they too call home is also provided for them. So as a human being, as a person who cared, as a person who saw mothers and children who were hungry, who needed water, didn't have adequate places to live, we can do better. We must do better. If we do not do, then who will do? And as we say, we come out of the civil rights movement, the human rights movement, the women's movement, we know what a role voice is, and we are exercising ours today. So thank you, and we hope the stories that we share with you will help you see that there is justice, and justice must be for all people.